10 actors who appeared in Star Trek before getting cast in iconic roles. Several actors appeared in Star Trek as minor characters before being cast in their more iconic roles. The Star Trek franchise has a long history of making great casting choices, and some actors made such an impression that they were brought back to play multiple characters. With actors and characters as iconic as William Shatner's Captain James T. Kirk and Leonard Nimoy's Spock, it's no surprise that Star Trek actors often became most associated with just one role. This applies to characters like Odo, Rene Auberjonois, and Tuvok, Tim Russ, as well. But these actors had appeared in Star Trek shows before. Many factors contribute to Star Trek's success, including the franchise's incredible characters and the actors who play them. Even with modern Star Trek prequels like Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Strange New Worlds, the producers have taken great care when choosing new actors to portray iconic characters. While many Star Trek characters have now been played by 2 or more actors, just as many Trek actors have portrayed multiple characters. Here are 10 Star Trek actors who popped up in the franchise before being cast in their most iconic Trek roles, before taking on the role of Spock's father, Ambassador Sarek. Mark Lenard appeared as an unnamed Romulan commander in Star Trek, the original series, Season 1, Episode 14, Balance of Terror. As one of the first Romulans seen on screen, Lenard's Romulan commander shocked Captain Kirk and his crew with his Vulcan-like appearance. Although the Romulans and the Federation had been involved in a war before the events of Balance of Terror, they had never actually seen one another. Mark Lenard's performance as the Romulan commander so impressed the producers of TOS that they thought of him when casting began for Spock's father, Sarek. In TOS Season 2, Episode 10, Journey to Babel, Lenard originated the character of Sarek alongside his human wife and Spock's mother, Amanda, Jane Wyatt. Lenard would go on to portray Sarek in 3 Star Trek films and 1 episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. The Star Trek universe has long been a fertile ground for up-and-coming actors, offering guest starring opportunities that showcase their talent. Many of these actors went on to become household names, starring in iconic roles in films and TV shows that would define their careers. Here's a look at 10 actors who appeared in Star Trek before landing their iconic roles. 1. Kirsten Dunst, Spider-Man, before she swung onto the big screen as Mary Jane Watson in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. Kirsten Dunst made her mark on Star Trek: The Next Generation. Dunst appeared in the episode Dark Page from Season 7, where she played Hedril, a telepathic alien child. In her role, she interacted with Counselor Deanna Troi, Marina Sirtis, inadvertently causing Troy's mother, Waxana, to revisit repressed memories. Though young, Dunst's talent was already evident, and within a few years, she would rise to stardom, capturing audiences' hearts as Peter Parker's love interest. 2. Tom Hardy, Mad Max, Fury Road. Before Tom Hardy's breakout roles in Inception, The Dark Knight Rises, and Mad Max, Fury Road, he played a crucial role in Star Trek: Nemesis. In this 2002 film, Hardy portrayed Shinzen, a clone of Captain Jean-Luc Picard, created as part of a Romulan plot. Though Nemesis received mixed reviews, Hardy's intense and layered portrayal of a Picard gone wrong was unforgettable. It wasn't long after this that Hardy's career skyrocketed, cementing him as one of Hollywood's most sought-after actors. 3. Terry Hatcher, Desperate Housewives. Terry Hatcher, known worldwide for her iconic role as Susan Mayer in Desperate Housewives, had a smaller but notable role in Star Trek: The Next Generation. In the Season 2 episode, The Outrageous Okona, Hatcher played Lieutenant B.G. Robinson, a transporter operator. Her role was brief, but her appearance in the Star Trek universe was a stepping stone in a career that would lead to her also becoming Lois Lane in Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman, before her Desperate Housewives success. 4. Bryan Cranston, Breaking Bad. Before he became the unforgettable Walter White in Breaking Bad, Bryan Cranston had a guest appearance in Star Trek: The Next Generation. Cranston played a character named Tyrn in the episode The Last Outpost. His role as a Ferengi on the hunt for the ultimate weapon wasn't particularly memorable, but Cranston's dedication to his craft shone through. Fast forward a few years, and Cranston's range as an actor would explode onto the screen with his Emmy-winning portrayal of the chemistry teacher turned drug kingpin in Breaking Bad. 5. Famke Janssen, X-Men. Before Famke Janssen became the telepathic and telekinetic mutant Jean Grey in the X-Men film franchise, she appeared in Star Trek: The Next Generation. Jansen played Kamala, an empathic metamorph, in the episode The Perfect Mate. Kamala was meant to bond with a man who would bring peace between two warring factions, but she developed a close connection with Captain Picard instead. Jansen's portrayal of this complex character foreshadowed the emotionally layered performances she would bring to X-Men and later roles. 6. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, The Walking Dead. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, now best known for his terrifying portrayal of Negan on The Walking Dead, had a brief but grueling stint in Star Trek Enterprise. He played an unnamed Xindi reptilian in the Season 3 episode Carpenter Street. Morgan has spoken about how physically challenging this role was, especially considering the heavy makeup and prosthetics he had to wear. Despite his discomfort, Morgan's performance was solid, and it wouldn't be long before he landed roles in Supernatural and Grey's Anatomy, followed by his career-defining turn as Negan. 7. Ashley Judd, Double Jeopardy. Before becoming a star in films like Double Jeopardy and Kiss the Girls, Ashley Judd had a recurring role on Star Trek: The Next Generation. Judd appeared as Ensign Robin Leffler, a young Starfleet officer, in 2 episodes, Dharmic and The Game. In these episodes, she worked closely with Wesley Crusher and played a key part in helping the crew thwart a mind-controlling device. Judd's performance as the smart and capable Leffler showed early signs of the strong, independent characters she would later become known for in Hollywood. 8. Christian Slater, Mr. Robot. Christian Slater, who became famous for films like Heathers and later won accolades for his role in Mr. Robot, has a surprising Star Trek connection. He had a cameo in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, as a communications officer on the USS Excelsior. Slater's brief appearance was a result of his mother, Mary Jo Slater, working as the casting director for the film. Though a blink and you miss it moment, Slater's passion for the franchise is evident, and it wouldn't be long before he became an icon in his own right. 9. Whoopi Goldberg, The Color Purple. Whoopi Goldberg, who would later become one of the few actors to win an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony, EGOT, had a long-running role on Star Trek: The Next Generation as Guinan, the wise bartender of 10 Forward. Goldberg was already a well-known figure by the time she joined Star Trek, having starred in The Color Purple, but her role as Guinan became iconic within the Trek universe. She portrayed the enigmatic and sage-like character who often offered Captain Picard invaluable advice. This role was pivotal in Goldberg's diverse career, which would also include her famous roles in Ghost and Sister Act 10. Christopher Plummer, The Sound of Music. Though Christopher Plummer was already known for his role as Captain Von Trapp in The Sound of Music, his portrayal of General Chang in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, remains one of the most memorable villains in franchise's history. Plummer's gravitas and theatrical background lent a Shakespearean quality to the Klingon general who quoted the bard while engaging in battle with Captain Kirk and the Enterprise. Plummer's Chang was ruthless, cunning, and charismatic, traits that made him one of the most formidable antagonists in the Star Trek film series. Conclusion: Star Trek has long been a launching pad for actors who would go on to achieve greatness. From brief guest roles to larger, impactful appearances, these actors honed their craft within the Trek universe before stepping into the spotlight of some of the most iconic roles in film and television.